What would you do if you were told that a simple act of obedience could trigger a miracle? The story of Saint Amaro is not just a tale of faith, it is a window into the extraordinary. This faithful disciple of Saint Benedict, known for his life of silence and prayer, starred in one of the most impactful moments in Christian history. He walked on water to save a life. But this miracle, far from inflating his ego, only strengthened his humility and devotion to God. What lessons does this holy man, who transformed the ordinary into the divine, offer us today? Stay with us, because the life of Saint Amaro holds secrets that can change the way you view faith and life itself. 1. The origins of Saint Amaro, an early vocation. Saint Amaro was born in Rome at a time when faith was the refuge of souls, and a religious vocation was seen as a divine calling. From a young age, he showed inclinations towards spirituality, which led him to enter religious life at just 12 years old. Under the guidance of Saint Benedict, he found not only a teacher, but also a friend and mentor who would shape the course of his life. From his early years, Saint Amaro understood that his purpose was linked to a path of silence, prayer, and service. In an era of great social and political challenges, his entry into the monastery was not merely a personal decision, but an act of profound dedication to God. This young man, born into a noble family, left behind earthly privileges to embrace austerity. The bond with Saint Benedict was essential for his spiritual formation. Saint Benedict, recognized as the father of Western monasticism, saw in Amaro a disciple with a pure heart and an obedient spirit. From the very beginning, he taught him the fundamental principles of ora et labora, pray and work, a motto that Saint Amaro would follow throughout his life. Although historical records of his childhood are limited, traditions suggest that from an early age, Saint Amaro stood out for his humility and willingness to sacrifice. This allowed him to quickly earn the trust of Saint Benedict, who considered him one of his closest disciples. His entry into monastic life marked the beginning of a story of faith that centuries later continues to be an example for all. From his youth, Saint Amaro showed that age does not matter in responding to the divine call, but rather the willingness of the heart. 2. Silence and austerity, the monastic life of Saint Amaro. The monastic life of Saint Amaro was deeply marked by silence, austerity, and devotion. From his first days in the monastery, he stood out as an example of discipline and total dedication to spiritual practices. In an increasingly noisy world, his life shines as a testament to the strength of inner silence. Silence was not merely the absence of words, but a tool to connect with the divine. Saint Amaro understood that silence was a language in itself, a space where the mind and spirit could encounter God. His ability to maintain this practice amid monastic responsibilities made him stand out among his brothers. Austerity was also an essential characteristic of his life. From simple clothing to frugal food, Saint Amaro adopted a minimalist existence that allowed him to focus on the essentials, prayer and work. His example of austere living resonated deeply among the monks, inspiring them to seek the eternal rather than the ephemeral. Moreover, his commitment to ora et labora made him a model for his companions. Saint Amaro did not only pray, but also worked diligently in the monastery's tasks. He believed that manual labor was not a distraction, but a form of praise to God. For him, every daily action could become a sacred act if done with intention and love. The balance between prayer, work, and silence granted him an inner peace that radiated to those around him. Even in the most challenging moments, Saint Amaro displayed a serenity that came from his connection with the divine. His monastic life was not just a routine, but a living testimony of God's presence in the everyday. 3. The miracle of the pond, walking on water. The most impactful episode of Saint Amaro's life occurred when he obeyed an order from Saint Benedict without questioning anything. According to the account of St. Gregory the Great, a young man was about to drown in a nearby pond. Upon receiving the order to save him, Saint Amaro rushed without considering the dangers that awaited him. What happened next defied all human logic. Unbeknownst to him, Saint Amaro walked on water, driven solely by his faith and obedience. It wasn't until the young man was safe that Amaro understood what had transpired. The miracle was not a source of pride for him. Instead, he attributed all the merit to God and to Saint Benedict's prayers. This event not only surprised the monks, but also became a proof of the power of obedience and faith. For Saint Amaro, the miracle was not a demonstration of his abilities, but a reminder that true greatness lies in humility and the willingness to serve. The miracle of the pond marked a turning point in how his fellow monks perceived him. From that moment, they saw him not only as a companion, but as an instrument of the divine will. His unwavering faith and willingness to obey without question made him a living example of Benedictine principles. This event also serves as a lesson for all of us. It reminds us that when we fully trust in God and follow His will, we can overcome any obstacle, even those that seem impossible. The miracle of walking on water is not just a physical feat, but a symbol of the power of faith that moves mountains. 4. Divine friendship. The bond with Saint Benedict. Saint Amaro was not only a disciple of Saint Benedict. Their relationship went beyond teaching. They shared a deep friendship founded on faith and the pursuit of holiness. Saint Benedict, as a mentor, saw in Amaro a reflection of the values he preached, while Amaro found in him an irreplaceable spiritual guide. The relationship between the two was based on mutual respect and admiration. Saint Benedict quickly recognized his disciples' virtues. His humility, obedience, and dedication were evident to all in the monastery. Therefore, he treated him not only as a student, but also as a close friend in faith. This bond allowed Saint Amaro to deeply absorb Benedictine principles. The miracle of the pond, where Saint Amaro walked on water, is one of the stories that best reflects this connection. Saint Benedict fully trusted his disciple by entrusting him with the task of saving the young man. Amaro, for his part, obeyed without hesitation, demonstrating his absolute trust in his master and consequently in God. This spiritual symbiosis further united them. Over the years, Saint Benedict entrusted important tasks to Saint Amaro, including missions that required great responsibility. One of the most significant was the succession in Subiaco, a decision that showed Saint Benedict's faith in Amaro's leadership and his ability to guide the monastic community in his absence. The bond between them was not only human, but profoundly spiritual. It was an example of how relationships based on faith can elevate individuals to extraordinary levels of holiness. The connection between Saint Amaro and Saint Benedict remains a reminder of the importance of having guides and companions on our journey toward God. 5. The vocation to holiness, a call for everyone. The life of Saint Amaro is a powerful reminder that we are all called to holiness, regardless of our circumstances. His story demonstrates that it is not about achieving great human feats, but about living in obedience and dedication to God's will. His example invites us to reflect on our own vocation and how we respond to it. From an early age, Saint Amaro understood that holiness was not a goal reserved for a few, but a universal call. His willingness to leave behind the material world to embrace monastic life was a sign of his desire to respond to this call with all his being. In a time when distractions were less numerous than today, his decision remains deeply relevant. Ora et labora, the Benedictine motto, was the guiding principle of his life. Through constant prayer and diligent work, Saint Amaro transformed every aspect of his existence into an offering to God. His ability to find the divine in the everyday is a lesson for those seeking holiness amidst daily responsibilities. Moreover, his humility in the face of the miracles God performed through him is an essential lesson. He never sought personal glory, but always directed attention to God. This focus on holiness as service, not as recognition, is a practical guide for those aspiring to a life of authentic faith. In a modern world full of challenges and distractions, the life of Saint Amaro reminds us that holiness remains possible. It is not about grand gestures, but about small acts of faith, obedience, and love that, as he demonstrated, can become everyday miracles. 6. Legacy in Subiaco, successor of Saint Benedict. One of the most important moments in the life of Saint Amaro was his appointment as the successor of Saint Benedict in Subiaco. This monastery, founded by Saint Benedict, was the heart of monastic life at that time, and leading it was an enormous responsibility. However, Saint Amaro took on the role with the same humility and dedication that had defined his entire life. As the abbot of Subiaco, Saint Amaro not only preserved his mentor's teachings, but also strengthened them. His leadership was marked by wisdom, compassion, and a firm adherence to Benedictine rules. Under his guidance, the monastic community grew both in number and spirituality, becoming a beacon of faith for the region. One of the most notable qualities of his leadership was his ability to inspire others. The monks under his care saw in him a living example of Benedictine principles. His daily life, marked by prayer, work, and humility, was a constant testament to the holiness that can be achieved when living in obedience to God. Saint Amaro was also known for his ability to resolve conflicts both inside and outside the monastery. His wisdom and patience allowed him to act as a mediator in disputes, earning the respect not only of the monks, but also of the local community. This role as a peacemaker reflects his commitment to the Christian values of love and reconciliation. The legacy of Saint Amaro in Subiaco is a testament to his fidelity to Saint Benedict's mission. His leadership not only ensured the continuity of the Benedictine monasticism, but also strengthened it, leaving an indelible mark that is still felt today in Christian spirituality. 7. The miracle of the loaves, a symbol of charity and the Eucharist. One of the most moving miracles attributed to Saint Amaro occurred during his pilgrimage to France. On his journey, he was welcomed by a small convent facing an extreme shortage of food. The monks, despite their poverty, offered the only remaining loaf in the pantry to feed the saint and his companions. It was an act of generosity that, according to accounts, triggered an extraordinary miracle. The next morning, the monks found the pantry miraculously filled with fresh loaves, enough to feed them for over a month. This event not only highlighted Saint Amaro's spiritual connection with God, but also the importance of charity and trust in divine providence. For the monks, it was a tangible reminder that God never abandons those who fully trust in him. The miracle of the loaves is not just a story of material abundance, but a profound symbol of the Eucharist. Just as the multiplied bread physically nourished the monks, it also reflected the importance of the spiritual bread received in communion. This event became a living testimony of the Christian faith, inspiring generations of believers to share with others even in times of need. Over the centuries, this story has been celebrated in various festivities dedicated to Saint Amaro. In some countries, it is a tradition to bless bread and food in his honor as a gesture of gratitude and hope. This ritual act connects the faithful with the original miracle, reminding them of the importance of generosity and faith. The miracle of the loaves remains a powerful reminder that when we give with love, God multiplies our offerings in ways that transcend the material. The life of Saint Amaro teaches us that even the smallest acts of kindness can trigger miracles that transform lives. 8. Saint Amaro in France, his pilgrimage and miracles. The pilgrimage of Saint Amaro to France marked a significant chapter in his life, filled with challenges, miracles, and spiritual encounters. This journey was not only an act of faith, but also a mission to expand Benedictine spirituality beyond Italian borders. During his travels, he left an indelible impact on the communities he visited. During his journey, Saint Amaro faced numerous difficulties. The roads were dangerous, resources scarce, and weather conditions adverse. However, his unwavering faith and trust in divine providence guided him along the way. Every step he took was a testament to his commitment to the mission God had entrusted to him. During this pilgrimage, Saint Amaro performed several miracles, in addition to the famous miracle of the loaves. It is said that he healed the sick, helped the poor, and strengthened the faith of those he encountered. His presence radiated a peace and hope that transformed the communities he visited, leaving a deep imprint on people's hearts. One of the most well-known stories from his journey is his arrival at a monastery in France, where he found demoralized and weakened monks. Saint Amaro inspired them with his example and taught them the principles of ora et labora. His presence revitalized the spiritual and communal life of the monastery, consolidating Benedictine influence in the region. The pilgrimage of Saint Amaro to France not only strengthened his legacy, but also expanded the reach of Benedictine monasticism. His journey is a reminder that faith knows no borders and that love and devotion can overcome any obstacle, bringing light to the darkest places. 9. Intercessor of the sick, protector against ailments. Since his death in the year 584, Saint Amaro has been venerated as a powerful intercessor before God, especially in times of illness. Popular devotion has made him a protector against ailments such as colds, rheumatism, gout, and muscle pains. His fame as a thaumaturge saint has spread over the centuries, attracting faithful from around the world seeking healing. The connection of Saint Amaro with healing is not accidental. His life, marked by obedience, prayer, and faith, prepared him to become a mediator between God and men. Testimonies of miracles attributed to his intercession are numerous, ranging from physical healings to spiritual comfort for the afflicted. In many churches and sanctuaries dedicated to Saint Amaro, the faithful participate in specific rituals and prayers to seek his help. One of the most popular traditions is the blessing of loaves, which symbolizes not only the miraculous multiplication of food, but also the hope that divine blessings multiply in their lives. The veneration of Saint Amaro as a protector of the sick also reflects the importance of faith in the healing process. His devotees seek not only physical relief, but also spiritual strength to face their challenges. This holistic approach to healing, encompassing body and soul, is a living legacy of his spirituality. Over the centuries, the figure of Saint Amaro has inspired not only the sick, but also those who care for them. His life reminds us that even in our weaknesses, we can find strength and hope in faith. His intercession remains a beacon of light for those seeking comfort amidst suffering. 10. The death of a saint, his passage to eternity. Saint Amaro passed away on January 15, 584, at the age of 72, after a life entirely dedicated to God. This moment marked not only the end of his earthly existence, but also the beginning of his eternal legacy as a saint, venerated by generations. His death was not seen as an end, but as a passage to eternal glory. According to traditions, Saint Amaro faced his final moments with the same serenity he had shown throughout his life. Spiritually prepared and surrounded by his monastic brothers, he surrendered his soul to God in an act of complete submission and trust. His death was an example of how to live and die in faith, with a heart full of peace and hope. The impact of his departure was deeply felt in the monastic community. The monks who had followed him as leader and mentor mourned his loss, but also celebrated his life as a testimony of holiness. His example inspired others to live with the same dedication and humility, continuing his mission in the monastery and beyond. After his death, miracles were attributed to his intercession, quickly leading to his veneration as a saint. The faithful flocked to his tomb, seeking comfort and healing, and stories of his holiness spread throughout Europe. His figure became a symbol of faith and hope for those seeking an example of authentic Christian life. Today, January 15th is celebrated as the Day of Saint Amaro, a date when the faithful around the world honor his memory and seek his intercession. His life and death continue to be a source of inspiration, reminding us that true greatness lies in total dedication to God. 11. Popular devotion, faith in Saint Amaro through time. The devotion to Saint Amaro has transcended centuries, becoming one of the most rooted within Christian spirituality. Since his death, the faithful have seen him as a close intercessor, especially in times of illness and need. His figure has inspired traditions, festivities, and rituals that remain alive in many parts of the world. One of the most common expressions of this devotion is the celebration of his feast on January 15th. In many countries, the faithful participate in processions, masses, and special blessings dedicated to honoring his life and seeking his help. In some communities, it is customary to bless foods, such as bread and other basic products, in remembrance of the miracle of multiplication. Stories of miracles attributed to Saint Amaro have also strengthened his popularity. From physical healings to interventions in desperate situations, his intercession has been considered a sign of God's active presence in the lives of believers. These testimonies not only reaffirm the faith of his devotees, but also inspire others to seek his help. In art and architecture, Saint Amaro is often depicted as a humble man, dressed in the Benedictine habit, often accompanied by symbols reflecting his life and miracles. These images serve as visual reminders of his holiness and as inspiration for those seeking to follow his example. Despite the passage of time, the figure of Saint Amaro remains relevant. His popular devotion not only connects the faithful with the past, but also offers them a model of faith and hope to face present challenges. His life is a reminder that holiness is not a distant ideal, but a real possibility for those who walk in obedience to God. 12. Lessons from Ora et Labora. Work and prayer in harmony. The motto Ora et Labora, pray and work, which defines Benedictine spirituality, was central to the life of Saint Amaro. This principle not only guided his personal path to holiness, but also left a timeless teaching for all who seek to live a balanced and meaningful life. The harmony between prayer and work is one of the most valuable lessons of his legacy. For Saint Amaro, prayer was not merely a ritual act, but the heart of his existence. Every moment of his life was imbued with a deep connection to God, whether in the silence of the monastery or amidst his daily tasks. This approach allowed him to transform even the simplest activities into acts of praise and gratitude. Work, on the other hand, was not seen as a burden, but as an extension of prayer. Whether cultivating the land, writing manuscripts, or helping others, Saint Amaro understood that work was a way to collaborate with divine creation. This balance between action and contemplation made him a model of practical spirituality. Ora et Labora also holds profound meaning for the modern world. In an era marked by stress and imbalance, Saint Amaro's teaching reminds us of the importance of integrating spirituality into our daily lives. It is not about separating the sacred from the everyday, but about finding God in every action and circumstance. The life of Saint Amaro demonstrates that prayer and work are not opposites, but complementary. Together, they form a path to holiness that is not reserved for monks, but open to all who seek to live with purpose and faith. His example continues to guide those who yearn for a deeper and more meaningful life. 13. Miracles that transcend time. The relevance of Saint Amaro today. The miracles attributed to Saint Amaro are not just events of the past. Their meaning transcends time and continues to resonate in the faith of believers today. These stories of divine intervention remind us that even amidst modern challenges, faith can open doors to the extraordinary. The miracle of walking on water, for example, teaches us about the power of obedience and trust in God. In a world full of uncertainties, this event inspires believers to move forward with faith, knowing that God can overcome any barrier. More than a historical fact, it becomes a metaphor for how faith can sustain us even in the most difficult moments. The miracle of the multiplication of loaves also holds deep relevance in a world marked by inequality and lack of resources. Saint Amaro reminds us that by sharing what little we have, God can multiply it and bless us in unexpected ways. This message of charity and hope remains a guide for those seeking to make a difference in their communities. Moreover, the figure of Saint Amaro as an intercessor before God remains a source of comfort for those facing illnesses or difficulties. His example shows us that faith is not only a refuge in times of adversity, but also a transformative force that can bring healing and renewal. The relevance of Saint Amaro today lies in his ability to connect the faithful with the divine through the human. His life and miracles invite us to see God's presence in our own lives, reminding us that the extraordinary is within reach for those who fully trust in him. 14. Saint Amaro in modern spirituality, an example to follow. In a modern world full of distractions and superficialities, the figure of Saint Amaro emerges as an example of authentic spirituality. His life, marked by simplicity, prayer, and action, offers valuable lessons for those seeking a deeper connection with God in the fast-paced rhythm of contemporary life. One of the most remarkable aspects of his spirituality is his ability to find God in the everyday. For Saint Amaro, every task, no matter how small, became an opportunity to glorify God. This approach challenges us to transform our daily activities into acts of faith, finding meaning in what often seems routine. His example also invites us to re-evaluate our priorities. In an era where success is often measured by material achievements, Saint Amaro reminds us that true greatness lies in humility and service to others. His life shows us that we do not need grand gestures to draw closer to God, but a sincere willingness to follow his will. Moreover, the practice of ora et labora remains a guide for those seeking balance between spiritual life and daily responsibilities. In a world where stress and burnout are common, Saint Amaro's teaching on integrating prayer and work offers a practical and deeply spiritual solution. The figure of Saint Amaro is a reminder that holiness is not a distant ideal, but a real possibility for everyone. His life inspires us to seek more authentic spirituality and to live with a deeper purpose, finding God in every moment and circumstance. 15. Prayer to Saint Amaro, a cry of faith and hope. Prayer, O Saint Amaro, faithful disciple of Saint Benedict and witness to the divine presence in the world, today we lift our prayers to you, humble servant of God. You who walked on water with obedience and faith, help us to fully trust in the Lord, even in the most uncertain moments of our lives. Intercessor of the sick, protector of the afflicted, and guide of the faithful, we ask you to intercede before God for our needs. Alleviate our pains, strengthen our spirit, and renew our hope. May, through your example, we learn to live with humility, charity, and devotion. O Saint Amaro, model of virtue and holiness, teach us to integrate prayer and work into our lives, to find God in the everyday, and to live each day as an offering to Him. Help us to listen to His call and respond with generosity and courage as you did. May your life, marked by miracles and sacrifices, be a constant inspiration for us. Saint Amaro, pray for us and for all those who seek peace, healing, and holiness. May, by following your example, we draw closer to the heart of God. Amen.